away. Take my hand. Will you share this with me? Starting without you.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, Gift, welcome. Thank you for telling me no audio. I was actually muted. I didn't know I was muted. If you're here, can you drop your comments so that I can register your presence? Gift, welcome. Gift Chigo, welcome tonight. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So we're going to be, Idris is still using the wrong link. Idris, let me see. How can I pass a message to Idris? All right. Welcome, Sheon. Welcome, Isaac. Welcome, Emmanuel. Yeah, welcome. Yes. Fatima, welcome. Yes, just keep registering your presence if you are here, if you're on this live video. I want you to drop comments in the comment box. Yes, more people are joining us. Cosmos is here now. Good evening, Cosmos. Welcome. Let's just wait for some few more persons to join before we kick off. If you have any questions for me while we wait for the others to quickly join up, you can ask me in the comment box. I will gladly answer you. Now that we're just waiting for people to join up, I will start in about 3 minutes from now. I will just give them 3 minutes before we kick off. Tonight is going to be very short because what we're looking at is pretty straightforward. It's not something complex. It's pretty straightforward. So we'll just look at it, touch on the points quickly, and then we'll be done in like 30 minutes max, I believe. So if you have any questions for me, you can ask. You can ask me on the comment box about anything at all. You can ask. All right. Some people have been asking that when is the class going to commence? The actual boot camp, right? It's going to start on the 17th. On the 17th of October, that's when, exactly a month from now. Exactly a month from now, we're going to be launching the boot camp on our campus in Lagos, Nigeria. So if you are planning to join that boot camp, I think you start planning from now. At least you have a month, a full month to join that boot camp. So if you're planning on traveling to Lagos, if you're planning on maybe packing up stuff, maybe wrapping up on projects, maybe whatever you want to do before 17th of October, if you are sure you're going to be admitted though. So, but everybody that will be admitted though will be confirmed on the 3rd of October. So by 3rd of October, everybody should know exactly who and who is coming to Lagos. Is there a limit? So Emmanuel is asking a question. Is there a limit on how many persons can be admitted to the internship bootcamp? Yes, there's a limit. So we're just taking between 30 to 50 for the bootcamp. We're taking between 30 to 50 because we need to be able to guarantee a job, like we've been saying. So right now we have roughly job slots for about 30 to 50 persons. So we can't really go beyond 50 actually. So we have to take maximum of 50, minimum of 30. So yeah, so that's a slot that we have. So there's a limit. It's actually very, very limited. Especially the fact that we want to ensure that, like I told you before, that none of our current alumni is jobless. None of them all of them, not even most, all our alumni are all working in fantastic places. So to keep up with that kind of success rate, we need to ensure that we are able to provide connection and connect these guys that we're training. So the 50 persons we are training, or the 30 persons that we're going to take, we have to ensure that they are good enough and they are able to get a job. So that's this kind of success rate we want to maintain, at least for now. So we can't take more than we can connect to a job. So what's the test like? Ezima Ineka, sorry if I don't pronounce your surname very well, but Ineka, yes. So what's the test like? The test is very simple. There are two tests we're going to do. We're going to do a technical interview. Technical interview is simply a test of all that you've learned so far in the foundation class, right? That's the technical interview. So you're going to do that. You're going to be tested. You're going to probably build a small application after the foundation class for 2 weeks, because we are going to teach everyone on this group, about 148 persons, I guess now. We're going to teach everybody, it's open, it's free. Everybody will learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript. And then we expect that at the end of those 2 weeks of training for everyone, some people will be able to do some little stuff. So we're going to test that exactly. We're going to test specifically, designs, and then test your ability to write some basic codes. That's the technical interview essentially. So we're going to actually do a project. That's what it means. So we're going to give you on a particular day, we're going to all come online. They're going to be, so there's going to be a portal that you'll be logged into. That in that portal you will see your assessment, you will see what the questions are, then you will quickly answer them and write your codes and submit them. That's it. So that's basically the technical interview. Then the other interview you're going to do is the behavioral interview. So behavioral interview in the sense that there are some people that are good in terms of technical. They are very good technically, but attitude-wise, behavioral-wise, character-wise, they are very, very terrible. So we don't want someone that will come to the boot camp and start insulting someone else, or start abusing someone else, or start fighting. As a matter of fact, once you even argue with someone too much, you can be heading home straight up. So, we want that to be, we want the place to be a cultured environment, matured people coming in. So we want to be sure the kind of character traits that we are bringing in, so that everybody is sane, everybody is normal. There are no abnormalities. There are no people looking for girlfriends or boyfriends instead of facing their code. So that's the second. So it's not a place for relationships and all of that. So we want to be sure behavior-wise that people are, they are fit for the program, and not just technically good, but otherwise they are not fit for the program. So we want people that can, both attitude-wise, culture-wise, behavior-wise, and technical-wise, they can be. I'm already revealing all the secrets. There are no secrets really. I don't have to keep all of this, so that we can get the best people. If you know you're a right fit for this, you can. And if you pretend, we will still catch you anyway. Is everybody is sane? Well, everybody is sane, but have you seen a matured man throwing punches before? You know he's not actually sane. So we don't want people like that. All right, so that's it. So I think it's time. We have about 15 persons now, so we can kick off. Yes, so welcome everyone. Welcome again. Let's kick off. So tonight we're looking at, we're strictly looking at how to launch your website. How to launch your website, and it's simple. We're going to run through some basic steps, and then we're just going to show you how to launch your website, because at the end of this course, of course, one of the prerequisites is that you are able to use GitHub, you are able to push your code to the server, you are able to launch your website, and and all of that. So that's why we are doing all this basic introduction to all these concepts. So what's the first thing you do when you want to launch a website? What's the first thing that you do when you want to launch a website? It's very simple. The first thing that you do when you want to launch a website is to buy a domain name, right? So the domain name is really where you, so let me explain this way. The domain name is simply your address on the internet, right? Your domain name is your address on the internet. So if someone is going to visit your website, or is going to visit your address on the internet, he has to know the person has to know your domain name. So the domain name is the first thing you buy when you want to launch your website. And how do you buy a domain name? It's simple. You can buy it from any of the domain resellers. So we have Ugo Host in Nigeria, we have Cisco, we have a lot of them. I probably use Ugo Host in Nigeria. So we have foreign ones, we have Namecheap, we have HostGator, we have GoDaddy, we have Bluehost. Quite a number of people selling domains. In fact, domain is probably the cheapest thing you can buy in this whole in the value chain of hosting a website, right? So how do you buy a domain name? You can go to Ugo Host, for example. This is their site, Ugo Host website. So when you come to Ugo Host, ugohost.com is the name, is the address. You can look at it up here. Is it clear enough? Is the screen clear enough, or I should zoom in a bit? Okay. How is this guy still here? Security question. I will do this later. Can I? I'll do this later. All right, so this is where you come to, right? If you want to buy a domain name, you can come to Ugo Host. Why is he insisting I do this? All right. So this is Ugo Host, right? This is my account of Ugo Host. So when you want to buy, how much does a domain? Let me zoom my screen. Okay, give me a second. I need to quickly answer this question because it's my secret question. So I can't share my secret question with everybody. I don't know why they are forcing me to do this while on the live call. So let me just quickly do that. I'm going to switch over to my face while I answer my secret question. 4 digits, primary school you attended, spouse. Just a second, I just want to quickly get this out of the way. All right, so I've submitted my secret question. So they just do this one. I think it's a security upgrade on their site. So they are just trying to ensure that hackers can't overtake your site. So that's it. So we have gotten that out of the way now, so we can share back the screen. All right. So how much does a domain cost? Someone is saying I should zoom my screen a bit more. So let me see if I can do that. I think I've zoomed a lot, but let me try again. So is it clearer now? I think it's a bit clearer now. So let me answer your question one after the other. How much does a domain cost, right? So it depends on the kind of domain you are buying. So let me just show you the different extensions that we have. We have the .ng, .com, .co.za, it's a lot. So let me just do a quick search for something here. Let me say bootcamp.com. So that you can see all the different domain extensions that are available there. You can have an idea, right? So, okay, so you can see this is loading. This is Namecheap, right? So you have, so depending on the what we call the TLD, right? The TLD is this last 3 digits, last 3 characters at the back of your domain name. So depending on the TLD, the extension of your domain, that's what influences the price. So you can see the .com usually is more expensive. There are some customized one like .io, .xyz, .me. Let me zoom up a bit again because this screen is smaller. All right, so I think it's a bit bigger now. So you can see the .io, .z, .me, .art, .app, .tech, .live, .shop, .studio, design, online. So it's a lot of different kind of TLD. So it depends. So you can see their price tags right in front. So it depends on what you're buying. So they are not all the same. So does that answer the question for how much does it cost? So depending on what you are buying, right? But the cheapest I think is .com.ng. .com.ng is about the cheapest that you can find. So you can buy. So let's go back to Ugo Host, like I was explaining. So Ugo Host is a Nigerian reseller. Am I selling their market now? They're not paying me for this advert. Anyway, Ugos is probably one of the most popular in Nigeria, and they sell domain to you. You can buy from them if you want to. So that's the first thing you do. So when you buy the domain, why I'm mentioning this is that there is something you need to do, right? So when you buy the domain, let me go to my domains. When you buy the domain, the first thing you want to do is to make sure that your domain name is going to be pointed to your, where are my domains? Oh, what account did I log into? I think I'm logged into the wrong place. Oh, shit. I'm logged into the wrong account. All right, so when you log in, just give me a second again to log into my account. I was logged into the wrong place. Give me a second. Just, I'm going to quickly switch my screen to log in. Sorry, just a second. Just a second. I'm trying to log into my account so that you can see the domain and I can explain what I want to explain. So when you buy the domain, right, the first thing you do is to buy the domain. The next thing you want to do is to buy your hosting server, right? You buy your hosting server, and then when you buy your hosting server, you need to point your domain to your hosting server, right? You need to buy the domain first, and then you buy the hosting, and then you point the domain to the hosting. Is that correct? So we point the domain to the hosting. Let me show you how to do that. So for example, I have lots and lots of domains on Ugos. Let me just open one of them so that we can quickly look at how to point the domain to the hosting, right? So for example, if you look at this one, so if you look at this one, for every domain reseller, whether Namecheap, Cisco, GoDaddy, HostGator, irrespective of where you buy your domain name, right? They will always give you this option of managing the domain. And then most importantly, you will see this option for manage name servers. Manage name servers, don't forget. So when you click on manage name servers, it will take you to a place where you'll be able to point the domain, right, to the hosting. Right, so if you can look at my screen, I don't know if you can see it clearly. You will see something here. Just give me a second. All right, as I was saying, if you look at the address here, I need to show you where to get these IP addresses or these name servers, not really IP addresses now. These are called name servers. So this name server is actually the name of your hosting server, and it's mapped to an IP address, right? It's mapped to an IP address. So where do you get these name server addresses from? Let me show you how to get that. So if I go to my Cpanel, so Cpanel is simply why do we need to buy a domain, please? Praise Order is saying, why do we need to buy a domain? So I think you came late, but I said domain is the address to your website on the internet. That's really fast. Domain is what? Is the address to your website on the internet. Without a domain name, people can't visit your website. So you need a domain for people to visit your website. So for example, you can't visit itskillcenter.com.ng without that name. So that itskillcenter.com.ng is the domain name. You need to buy one. Without that, you can't visit the website. Even though technically you can actually visit the website, so that I don't say something that is not absolutely correct. You can visit the website by just the IP address alone, right? You can just type an IP address and you'll be able to visit the website. But what happens is that you want to be telling your clients and your customers that, oh, my website is at 192.168.56.2. Who will remember that? Do you understand? So really, your domain name is the same as your IP address. Do you understand? But the domain name is what humans can remember, while the IP address is what the computers will remember. So the domain name is actually mapped to an IP address. So when you type a domain name in your browser, you are actually, the system or the browser will interpret or convert that domain name to an IP address. Do you understand now? Praise order. Do you understand that? So that's why you need to buy a domain name. So the domain name is the address of your website on the internet. So you need to buy one. And I've explained where to buy one. The next thing I was trying to explain is the hosting. Is the hosting. You need to buy the hosting, right? So where do you get the hosting? I've explained that you can buy Can you hear me? Are we up now? I need comments in the box if you can hear me now. Are we back up? All right, Emmanuel says we are back up. Thank you very much. There was a small glitch there. Technically, my internet went off. All right, thanks. So as I was explaining, I said you can buy your hosting, right, from any of the hosting companies. Yes, my network actually, network is strong, but it went off. That's what happened. Sorry about that. So I was trying to explain where you can buy your host, right? You can buy it from GoDaddy. Let me open GoDaddy. GoDaddy. You can buy your hosting from GoDaddy. I recommend GoDaddy because they are a bit strong and they've been around for a long time, so they are quite stable. So as a matter of fact, I've used for small projects, right? You can use Nigerian based hosting. You can use Nigerian based hosting for small projects, but for major projects, so depend on the amount you are charging your clients. If you are charging your clients a good sum of money, then you can use Nigerian based hosting. You can, use something very small. But if you are doing something very major that you don't want any downtime, at all, then I'll prefer you use either a cloud server or you use a foreign host, where you can be sure that there is no power problem, there is no government factor, there is no ban on NEPA and all of that. So you have to be sure that you are getting the right tool. So you can use HostGator. I recommend HostGator. I recommend Bluehost, right? These are companies you can use. I recommend GoDaddy, right? You can use Namecheap too if you want to. You can use Namecheap if you want to. You can use Namecheap. They have a hosting, but I don't advise that you use Namecheap for hosting. They are actually not a hosting company. They are a domain reseller. But even though they have got ventured into hosting now, they have dedicated servers and all of that. For those that have used Namecheap for, they are always complaining of Namecheap. So don't use Namecheap for your hosting. What is a hosting server? Pleasure is asking, what is name server is used on a website? I think I already explained that, right? I already explained that. So let me launch my own. Let me launch my own. What is it called now? My own server so that you can see it. All right, so I'm launching my cPanel server now. I'm going to log in so that you can see where you get the name servers and the IP addresses from. If the screen is too small, you can let me know. So when you log in, I think I've zoomed out too much. I've zoomed out too much. All right, so this is a cPanel server. So when you buy a cPanel server, this is something you get. You get something similar to this. So someone was asking, what is a hosting server? A hosting server is that place where you will upload your code base to for the world to see, right? So let me explain it this way. When someone visits your domain name, right? So for example, pleasure.com. So we have a website at cosmoisurupleasure.com. That's the domain name. We buy that. Once we buy that, we're going to connect that domain name to the hosting server by pointing the name server to the hosting server. I'm going to show you how to do that. Then when you point it, your code that you have written, which you're going to be learning how to write in the foundational classes, the HTML code you have written, the CSS code you have written, the JavaScript code you have written, the React code you have written, any kind of code you have written, whether PHP, Laravel, React, Python, whatever code you have written, that code needs to be uploaded somewhere so that the domain name will be able to reach it, right? So that hosting server now, which we are inside, is where you actually upload your code. So let me show you a sample of what I'm saying. So if I come to, so I'm inside the cPanel right now. If I go to the file manager section, you will see all the different files and folders, right? For all the different websites that we have created or that we have on this sample. So this is a sample hosting server that we have created for this class. So if you look in here, I don't know if it's too small, if it's big enough. If you look in here, you will see, for example, see these projects here. You can see these projects. You will see an index.html. You will see a build folder. You will see an htaccess folder. All these are files and folders that was done by a developer like yourself, right? But the outside world cannot reach this code that is written inside here. But when they visit an address, so when I go to my browser and I visit, I visit dev.9to5chick.com, for example. So I'm visiting a domain name, for example. So dev.9to5chick.com is a domain name that the client has purchased, 9to5chick.com. They have purchased that domain name. When you now visit that domain name in the browser, what happens is that the browser will try to connect to the name server that this domain name is pointing to. Don't forget that I showed you something here before. I said any domain that you have, for example, africancargoexpress.com.ng is a domain name, but this domain name is currently pointing to this server. This is the name of the server. So from the word, there's only two words combined there, name server, right? Name server means the name of the server. That's the simple interpretation. Name server means the name of the server. So the domain name here, africancargoexpress.com.ng, in this case, is actually pointing to this server, right? And this server, for example, could be this cPanel server. So when you visit africancargoexpress.com.ng, it's going to go to that server and look for the folder. Let me show you how it's going to look for the folder. So there is something called the add-on domains. Look at this place. Look at this section under the cPanel called domains, right? If you go to domains, can you see? Can everybody see it? If you can see it, drop a comment in the chat box so I can see it, so I can know you are there. So if you click on the domains, right? How many of you are still following me? I need a chat in the chat box telling me you are following me. Kelvin, Nneka, are you there? Cosmos, are you there? Praise, are you there? Chooks, are you there? So I clicked on domains, right? When I click on domains, okay, we can see. Good, Emmanuel. So when I clicked on domain in my cPanel, you will see 9to5chick.com. Can you see it? 9to5chick.com. That is the domain name, right? And it's currently mapped to this. You see something called document root. If you look in here, you will see document root. This document root is actually the folder where your code base has been uploaded, such that when a client or your customers or your friends when they visit this domain, when they visit this domain in their browser, then the domain will link using, the domain will try to find, oh, which server am I pointed to? Okay, the name of my server is ns6511.hostgator.com. It's going to go to that server and locate, okay, this is my name, 9to5sheet.com. Which folder am I mapped to? It's going to now locate that this folder I'm mapped to is called, I just click on that link so that you can see the folder. So, but there is a link here. I think because I'm zoomed out, you can't see the full length. But if I mouse over it, can you see the link? So it's actually mapped to public _HTML / 9to5chick folder. Can you all see it? So that folder is right here in the file manager. If I come here and I open public, right, 9to5chick, this is it here. So you will see this file here. So this is where currently that domain is mapping to. Can you see? So that's how it works. That's actually the simple way it works. So when you visit a domain name, the domain name, when you press enter on your keyboard, is going to go to the place where you bought the domain name and try to identify the server that is pointed to, right? That means you have to buy the server, right? You buy the server also. So the server is this Cpanel that we have here. And how do you buy it? Like I told you, you can buy it from HostGator, you can buy it from GoDaddy, you can buy it from UgoHost. If you come here, you go to services, you can buy, you can order a new service. This is how to buy it. So if you click on order a new service here, they will ask you what kind of service do you want to buy. Is it a 600? You can see all the different plans that they have here. So you can buy, these are all server plans. You can buy, you know, they tell you that you have 2 gig space here. They tell you you have a 6 gig space when you pay this amount. They tell you you have a 12 gig space, 45 gig bandwidth, 15 subdomains, 3 add-on domains, you know, all of this. So 3 add-on domains means that this server, for example, you can only add a maximum of 3 domains on it. 5 add-on domains means you can only use 5 different domains on this particular kind of server at this amount. So this is where you buy. So you can buy a server. So once you pay for this, for example, UgoHost will send you the login credentials to access something like this. And then when you're able to access something like this, then you need to create what we call the add-on domain. So you come and add the domain name that you purchased. You will add it to the cPanel. How do you do that? Let me show you how to do that quickly. If I come backwards, right? So if you come here, you will see add-on domains. See add-on domains here. This is where you add a new domain that you just purchased to the cPanel. So when you click on add-on domains, so let's say, for example, I've just purchased a new domain name called ezimauneka.com. All I need to do is, when I purchase that address, ezimauneka.com, I will type it here. I don't need to type anything there. It automatically generates the subdomain for me. And then it will ask me what is the folder name that my code base is uploaded to. Let me explain that again. You buy a domain name from an UgoHost, for example. You buy a hosting from an UgoHost also, for example. Within UgoHost, you can map the domain name to the hosting server by going to your domain, my domains. Then you go to manage name server, right? So I go to my domain. You will see these 3 dots. Like I told you, whether you are using Namecheap, you are using GoDaddy, you are using HostGator, anywhere you buy your domain, they will always give you this option for manage name servers. Click on manage name servers, then you'll be taken to a page that has these 2 boxes for you to type in your name servers, right? So you get something like this. So all you need to do is go to your hosting server that you've purchased, right? And then once you go to that hosting server, there's a place you can find this information for your name servers. I will show you where to get that. But because I'm currently somewhere and I'm explaining something, I will not leave this page. So let me jump back to where I was here, right? Where I was here was that I was explaining that you purchased a domain name. I will type my domain name here, and then I will specify the folder that I've uploaded my code. So let's say, for example, we don't have this. This is not a real domain name, so I can't really submit it. But assuming you have a real domain name, you can type it in here, specify the folder of that your code base, and add on domain. So let me use an example of the one that exists. So let me go back a step and then show you one that exists. So when I go to domains, add on domains, or let me go to domains. For example, you see 9to5chick.com. Like I showed you this before, 9to5chick.com. And then similarly, the way I was explaining Uneka's concept the other time, ezimauneka.com. That was the way we added this 9to5chick, and we specified the folder name. So when you do that, you come to your folder part, and then you can upload your code, right? And that is the summary actually of how you upload a new website, such that when you now visit the website in the browser, the website is able to know where your code base is and is able to launch it. So this is an example, that that has been launched and uploaded to the server. So is that clear? That's very simple and straightforward, right? How do you upload the file that you've written? So let me show you an example of how to do that. So for example, if I've written a code, let me open my let me bring up my where is this? So let's say, for example, I have a project. Say I have a project. I'm trying to drag in. Why is it not going in there? Okay, it seems that you guys can't see. Can you see my screen? Can you see? I'm trying to share an additional screen, but it seems it's not going in there. So if you have a project, right? Let me see if I can share that one. Stop share, share a new screen. Just a second, I want to share my screen. Okay, good. So look at the screen I'm showing you currently. So this is my projects folder. So for example, I go to my desktop, I have several projects here. So let's assume that the website that we just completed that we want to upload to the server is any of these projects. All you need to do is to go to your project folder, right click on it, and zip it. If you're on a Windows system, yeah, Nneka, almost like Netlify. Oh, very correct. That is very similar to what you have on Netlify. So all you need to do to upload your file to the cPanel is to compress the folder, right? If I click on compress here, it's going to compress it. Can you guys see my screen? Yes, I think you can see it. So it's going to compress the folder. It's currently compressing it. I want to show you that. It's going to compress the folder. Now, when it's done compressing, all I need to do is go to my cPanel and click upload, and I will be able to upload it to the server, right? All right, so let me go back to the server now so I can show you that. All right, so I'm back on the server. So if you look at this server now, all I need to do is, for example, assuming this 9 to 5 tick folder is where I want to upload my work, you will see an upload button right up here. All you need to do is click upload. It's going to open up a page where you can upload your file. You click on select file, and then it's going to open up your system. And then all you need to do is to locate your projects folder that you have just zipped. So in my case, you remember that I went to projects and I zipped a folder called design code. So this is my zip folder. All I need to do is click on open, and then it will start uploading. It's that simple. And when it's done uploading, I have to cancel this because I don't want it to upload. So when it's done uploading, you can come back to your project folder here, and then you will see the zip file, and then you can extract it. Any questions? That is all for tonight. That is how to upload your work to a cPanel server. There are several other ways you can do it. You can use what we call SSH, right? You can upload using SSH. Even that is actually the most advised way of uploading your work, because with that, you can easily push your code to the repo and you can pull it from the server. I would have loved to show you that now, but I don't want this video to be as long as yesterday's video. I want to keep it very short. So we're going to be doing like 30 minutes max. We're already at 39 minutes. So I want to, end it here. So you can ask your questions, right? So, but this is a summary and overview of how to upload a website to the cPanel server, right? It's very simple and straightforward. You buy a domain name. After buying a domain name, you buy a hosting server. After buying, okay, I was going to show you something. I was going to show you something. Look at this. This is where you see the name. Let me show you where you will find the name server, the name of your server. So let me do that now. Let me show you where you see that. Okay, so you can see it right here. If you scroll down a bit, you will see something on the left called server information. Where is it? let me go back one step. Not this. I want to show you where you find your name server. Should be somewhere around here. Where is it hiding? Okay, I think they've changed the structure of this. Let me switch to the previous style. They've changed the structure of the design of this page. It's usually somewhere around on the left. It's missing. Okay. I can't find the name servers right now, but usually around somewhere on the left here. You see the name server, something similar to what you can find here, right? You will find exactly the same words beside your cPanel. They will write it boldly there. But since it's no longer there, the company that you buy your hosting from usually will send it to your email address. They will tell you the name servers, they will tell you your login credentials, they will give you everything, you know. So that's it. So if you want to upload, can you drag? Can I drag? Yes, you can drag, obviously. In this place where I showed you, this guy is still uploading. Yeah, so in this place, you can simply drag from your system into this box and you'll be able to upload, right? So yes, so that's it. So any questions on this? Like I said, you can use the SSH method, which is the most preferred method. I can show you that. Let me just quickly show you to do that in 2 minutes. But to do that, I have to share another screen. Where is my terminal? Let me share my terminal. Just a second. I want to launch my terminal and show you that. All right. So just a second. I need to stop sharing and share a new screen. All right. Share this window. All right. So this is how you do SSH, right? If you are to do SSH access or uploading your file via SSH, you can simply log into your. So like I said, all this information will be given to you by your hosting company, right? And you can log in. You can log into your server. This is an advanced method, though. You can log into your cPanel from your SSH access, and then you can still do the same thing. You know, you can go into your public_HTML, and then you can see all the files there. You can see the same 9 to 5 chick that we saw before, you know, and then you can enter that folder, and then you can upload your work. So from here, you can upload by just running your git pull. Remember, we did git pull yesterday. So you can simply pull from the server, from your repo rather, or clone from your repo. You can do a git clone, for example, and clone the entire repository into your server, and then from there you are done. So those are the 2 ways you can upload your work. You can use SSH, and you can use normal zip of you can zip your folder and manually upload it to your cPanel server. Yeah. So someone is saying QScript is saying is trying to help me out that it's below the team option. It's below the team option. No, I could not see it. I couldn't find it. So maybe I'll look for it later. Yeah. Any other questions so that we can wrap up this class for tonight and run to bed? Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? So it's as simple as that. So at the end of your foundation class, just to give you an hint, whatever project we give you, most likely you will be pushing to your repo, and most likely you will be pulling. We're going to have a demo server, so you're going to be pulling to your server. So you have to use the SSH access most likely. So you'll be giving us your authorized keys, your SSH keys, and we're going to add it to the server and all of that. So, but during the foundation class, we will know more about authorized keys and your SSH keys and all of that. So I think for tonight, if there are no questions, we can call it a day. Any questions? Did you enjoy the class? If you enjoyed the class, please tell me you enjoyed it. So I want to be sure you are not bored. Oh, why cPanel? Why cPanel? So, well, it depends on the project you are doing, right? You can use cloud servers, you can use DigitalOcean, you can use AWS, you can use Microsoft Azure. So, like I said, depends on the amount of money the client is paying and the kind of projects you are running. So, for example, if it's a Node project, usually if it's a Node project, a Node.js project, I would prefer you use a cloud server, you know, a DigitalOcean, AWS, you know, so that you can run your PM2 to keep the server running and stuff like that. But if it's a basic static website, if it's a basic Laravel project, you know, something basic, yeah, use a cPanel. There's no point stressing yourself over maintaining a cloud server when you can have your cPanel running for you. You know, on a cloud server, the difference is that on a cloud server, you have to install everything yourself, especially if you are doing AWS. If you buy an EC2 on AWS, you have to install your node, install your Apache, install your MySQL. You know, if you are not an expert in doing all of that, you have to install everything. So if you don't want to go through the stress of installing everything yourself, you can simply buy a cPanel server and everything is up and running. Is that clear, or is that clear for Cosmos? Cosmos asking why cPanel? Yeah. So cPanel is just an option. You can use a cloud server. You can use any of the cloud servers available. You can even use Netlify. You can use Surge. Surge is a one-time, one-click. You know, you can use Surge. You can use ngrok. You can use Netlify. You know, there are so many options. So it's just about what you prefer and what is easy for you. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Q Script. Thank you, Cosmos Izuru. Thank you, Emeka. What is different between cPanel and something like Heroku? So yeah, so Heroku is a cloud server. That's just I just explained that right now. So the Heroku of this world, the Netlify, the AWS, the Microsoft Azure, the DigitalOcean, and so many of them, they are cloud servers, right? They are cloud servers. So you know, they run on the cloud and they allow you to do a bit more configuration. They allow you to access via SSH. They allow you to install stuff. Like for example, if you buy a cPanel server that is shared, usually they will not allow you to install anything on your own, right? So that's the difference. They will not allow you to install anything on a shared cPanel server. But if you are on a cloud server, usually you have more control. So depend on the project and the amount of money the client is paying for the project. That decides, or for me, that decides the kind of infrastructure that I set up for them. So if they are paying a bit more, you can do something more sophisticated. If they are paying something simple, something low, and their website is actually very simple, then you don't have to stress over cloud servers. All right, so thank you very much. Once the zip code is uploaded to cPanel, it will be unzipped to make it work, right? Yes, correct. So once you drop your zip folder, your zip file on the cPanel, you have to extract it. You have to unzip it for it to work. Yes. Mr. Beck, can you upload this class? Yes, yes, yes. The video will remain, you know, on YouTube. You can watch it over and over again to go through it. Yeah, thank you very much. I think there are no more questions. Please, I want you guys to follow us on Instagram. It's very important. If you can do that now, I will appreciate. You should also subscribe to our YouTube channel. So just click the subscribe button right there below the screen. Click the subscribe button now and give a thumbs up to this video. Go to our Instagram. Our Instagram handle is _IT Skill Center. So you can quickly, you know, on your phone, quickly visit our Instagram handle and follow us, please. We need that. We need your likes and your follows so that we can have a bit of more audience on Instagram. So thank you very much. We'll see again tomorrow, which is the last day before our foundation class will kick off. So get ready. Tomorrow we're going to be downloading all the tools and softwares that we will need for foundation class. So get ready for tomorrow. Some website load faster than some sites. What determines the speed when loading? Does the server has any effect on this? All right, Pleasure, you want to drag this class a bit more. All right, so maybe let me just answer you in 60 seconds, right? So the speed of a website depends on a lot of factors. It's not just one thing. Server is there. If your server is overloaded, if your server space is full, if your server RAM is small, all of that can contribute. But usually your server is the last thing you should look at if your website is slow. The first thing you should look at is your code. What kind of loops are you running in your code? What's your code optimization? What kind of images are you loading? So you can just inspect. If you right click on your website and do an inspect, right? You can do that right now. Let me show you how you can see that. So if you go to let me stop sharing and share again a different screen. If you visit any website, right? For example, if you go to this site and you right click and you click on inspect, when you right click and click on inspect, you will see something like this too. I don't know if you can see this on your screen. It's like it's not being shared. How do I share this screen? I'm sharing something that is not showing. Hold on a second. Let me see if you can see it from here. Let me share my entire screen. Okay, yeah. So can you see it now? Great. So you can see this guy. It's called the console or the developer tool. I don't know if it's too small. Is it clearer now? All right. So this guy here is the guy you need to really know why your site is slow, or the first thing you should look at when your site is slow. How did I bring this up? All I needed to do was to right click on my website and then click on something called inspect. It's not visible. Someone is saying it's not visible. So when you come to this place, right, when you launch this guy, you need to click on this network. When you click on this network, click on all, and then when you do that, what you will see is that you will see all the things that your site is loading. So if I scroll up and I scroll up right here, can you see it? So you can see, okay, let me do this for IT Skill Center website so that you can see it a bit better. If I launch this site now, let me right click on it. Just hold on a bit. I want to show you something quickly. All right, so let's right click and inspect on IT Skill Center website. All right, so it's loading that now. Good. So you can see this, right? If you come to your network section and I click on my Control R or Command R to refresh, you will now see something here. You will see how fast your site is loading, and you'll be able to see all the files that is being loaded, the images, the CSS files, the JavaScript files, the external links, everything that your site is loading will be shown in your network. And then if you look at it, you can see how long it took for one particular item to be loaded. So you can see our site is very fast. Everything loaded under 0 milliseconds, which is quite ridiculous. Some took 7 milliseconds, some took 8 milliseconds. This is extremely fast, right? It opened, everything opened under 1 second. You know, everything opened in millisecond. But if your site is slow, what I'm saying is that I should still zoom in. I thought it was clear enough. Okay. So can you see it clearer now? Is it a bit clearer? So if you look at this now, you will see that. So if something is making your site slow, most times the culprit is always the images. So look at your images and look at the file size and see how long it takes for it to load. It will tell you here. It will tell you if it's taking, for example, there's some people that design websites that their images are 1 MB, 5 MB, 4 MB. If you have a 4 MB images, right, and you have like 4 of them, that means that someone who has a very slow internet will take how long to download that 4 MB, and that's just one image. Not talk of the CSS file, the JavaScript files, the site itself, and all of that. So this site took 1.33 seconds to load completely. If you can do that, do this experiment on every other site you have seen, and you will see how long the site took, and you will see the different things actually delayed the site. It could be images. You will see the individual elements that makes up the site and how long each of those items took for it to load. So if you can detect that, then you can know why your site is slow. So if everything on your website is actually very small and they're loading very fast, but your site is still slow, then you can check your server. Is that clear for who asked that question? Pleasure. All right. So that I will end it. I said I don't want to extend this class, but I will end it there. I think it's been helpful, right? Was I helpful in any way? Thank you very much, guys. We'll talk on the group. Any question you still want to ask me, you can ask on the group. Let me end the call here tonight. Lovely night rest to each and every one of you. I want to say a big thank you for joining tonight. Tomorrow, I want you to join again. It's going to be short. I promise tomorrow is going to be short. Right? So thank you very much for joining. See you guys tomorrow. You can continue asking your questions on the group if you want to. Thank you and lovely night rest.